So hello. So this is the first lecture, the Introduction to Space Planning 2 for Design 5. So we have already done with Space Planning 1. So ano bang basic, paalala ko lang ulit, remind ko sa inyo kung ano yung Space Planning. Baka nakalimutan nyo na, mahaba-haba kasi naging bakasyon nyo. So, uh, in a quote, or in this term, good space planning creates efficiency of all areas and avoids wasting spaces. So, meron tayong sinasabing ganyan. Ang good space planning, nakakakaroon ng efficiency sa lahat ng areas at nawawala yung wasted spaces. So, ano ba yung efficient planning or efficiency in planning? So, pag sinabi nating efficient design, ito yung result ng effective use ng structure after the construction. After the planning was done, lahat ng users or the users will have a smooth flow kapag ginagamit nila yung building or yung spaces natin. So, that's when we consider that a space is efficiently planned. So, ano naman yung wasted space? So, wasted space in planning is a crime. So, syempre ito yung mga dead ends or these are spaces with no functions, with no purpose at all. Minsan nagkaroon ka lang ng dead end, yung area na wala namang patutunguhan or area naman na walang pakinabang. So, yan ang iniiwasan natin. That's why we are studying space planning or that's how we are separate from other designers. Nagpapanggap ng designers. So what are the benefits of space planning, of having good space plans? So, una, you determine the zones of the spaces. Ano ba yung tatawag nating zones? So these are ginugroup natin yung mga spaces natin according sa activities and sa functions niya. So example, we group them into public, semi-private, and private. Or we group this, kunyari, this is the planning group, this is the group for the clerical works, or this is the group for the site work. So, depende sa gusto no yung planner or the designer, yung ating groupings. Si public, semi-private, and private, this is naman depends sa user. So, actually, when we determine the zone spaces, hindi talaga automatic na kailangan public, semi-private, and private. Ikaw lang ang mag-a-assign. Ito lang yung usually widely used zones natin. So, another benefit ng space planning is we have good circulation patterns. So, sino bang ayaw na magkaroon ng spaces na smooth yung flow mo sa loob? So, imagine cooking. Sino dito yung marunong magluto? So, if you can observe people who cook or mga nanay natin pag nagluluto sila, mas gusto nila yung naka-prepare na nasa malapit na sa kanila yung ingredients na gagamitin nila, 'di ba? Kasi imagine cooking, naghahalo ka, nagpiprito ka, tapos kukunin mo pa si condiment sa kabilang side or kukunin mo pa parang may hindrances pa bago ka makapunta sa refrigerator para kunin mo yung frozen meat. So, kapag nagluluto tayo, usually, di ba, piniprepare muna natin lahat para smooth na yung flow. We arrange it pa ng sunod-sunod according sa ilalagay natin para wala din tayong makalimutan. So, ganun lang din tayo when we do the space plans. Dapat we know the user itself kung paano siya nagfo-flow sa loob. So, that is included and which will be tackled din sa susunod. And then, syempre nga, pagka good ang space planning mo, yun nga, less wasted space. So, who would want to be wasted, di ba? Personally, sa mismong tayo, pag sinabi nating we're wasted, wala naman sigurong gusto ng ganyan, di ba? So, that's why pinaplano natin ng maayos yung ating mga ginagawa para hindi tayo nag-aaksaya ng oras natin. So, ganun din tayo sa space planning. We plan it very well, adjacency, andyan yung accessibility, we check the circulation to avoid this wasted space na tinatawag. And then, another benefit is the room shapes and size is more friendly. So a room shape and size has an effect on the circulation of users. Kasi sometimes there are spaces or there are activities that are good for square shape room. There are spaces na mas okay kung pabilog siya. May space, may activities na mas mape-perform mo kung rectangular yung shape ng room mo. So it still depends sa activity. So yun ang benefit ng space planning. Kung na-plan mo siya ng maayos, alam mo yung activity mangyari, mabibigay mo yung proper shape. Do you want to have a toilet na star shape? Imagine having a toilet na star shape. Parang ang hirap nung paano mo ilalagay yung mga furnitures, yung fixtures, so the water closet. How would you put the bathtubs? So even the sizes, 'di ba? We avoid congestions and we stick to the standard and recommended dimensions. 'Di ba pagka imagine designing an interior space na masyadong masikip, uh, uh, im- for 10 people pero ang gagamit pala is 20. So hindi siya naka-fit for the size or the dimension itself. So hindi siya magiging friendly for the users. So iyon ang iniiwasan natin, yung magkakaroon sila ng crowded, lalo na ngayon sa situation natin, bawal yung siksikan. Para lang yan 'di ba sa jeep na planado or designed to have at least 9 or 8 people only on one side, pero pinipilit ng conductor na 10 pala. 10 pa siya kahit hindi ka na makaupo ng maayos, hindi ka na nakasit, nakasquat ka na lang. So ganun ang magiging pakaramdam ng user kung hindi mo sa kanya ibibigay yung tamang size and shape para sa activities na gagamitin niya. Okay, rooms are practical and functional. Siyempre, yung for easy use. So practical yung pagkaka-locate natin. Kunyari kapag yung naglagay tayo ng exit door ay ng dirty kitchen malapit sa garage. So practical siya, merong access doon. So if you are dirty o meron kang galing kang palengke, ay mo nang dumaan sa main door, meron kang access from the car, diretso ka sa likod, sa kitchen ka agad mapupunta, di ba? So that's part of practicality. Aside from that, yung kunyari, uh, placing a storage room or a storage facility under the the stairs. So nagagamit mo yung wasted space na ilalim ng hagdan into something useful na hindi magiging functional siya is nandoon na nakalagay kunyari yung mga walis mo or your shoe racks, tapos ang hagdan mo pala malapit na sa entrance or sa paglabas ng pinto. So at least madali mong makukuha yung shoes mo. So it turns out to be a wasted space na nagiging functional. So mas easy yung paggamit ng spaces natin. So cost effective. So would the client pay for a wasted space nga? So good space planning, syempre babayaran ka. Yun nga binabayaran sa atin, hindi naman yung drawing natin. Yung binabayaran sa atin ni client is yung utak natin. Yung paano natin na po-produce yung plano na magkakaroon sila ng smooth and cost-effective. Hindi tayo magbabayad, lalo na kung per area yung bayad ni client sa kanyang building or sa kanyang structure. Magbabayad ba yan? Kunyari, 30,000 per square meter, tapos 6 square meter wasted space lang pala ginawa mo. Sayang naman yung kung magkano yun. 30 times 6, di ba? So cost-effective siya. Dapat makakatipid si client in terms nga sa spaces, sa materials, and even after the building was built, during the use, mas nakakatipid siya kasi good ang space planning natin. Paano yun? If you located it with the proper orientation, nakalocate siya, alam mo kung nasan yung flow ng hangin, you've done passive cooling, napapalamig mo siya without the air condition. So that's what you call cost effective ang isang building natin. So, we analyze spaces. Paano ba natin ina-analyze yung spaces natin? So, for existing spaces or proposed spaces, syempre karaniwan we do the as-built plans. So, ano yun? Sinusukat natin kung ano yung existing. So, kunyari, example na to, yung picture ko dito, yan, to. Nagsusukat ako, kaya ako naka-PPE kasi nagsusukat ako sa isang ospital recently after the lockdown. So, so yan, you do the as-built plans. You measure everything para alam mo kung lalo kung renovation, paano mo iaayos ngayon yung spaces. And then make sure that you photograph the existing space. So, kunyari ito, itong sample, yung picture sa baba, itong husband ko is checking the tiles kung pwede pa namin gamitin. We also check the panel board kung kakayanin niya yung mga loads na pinalalagay ni client for the interior. And then yung mga saksakan kung saan siya nakalocate. So, we photograph it so that habang ina-analyze natin during the planning, makikita mo yung dapat mong i-consider. Even on bare lots, kung kunyari hindi siya existing structure, it's not a renovation, it's a new project, kailangan mo pa rin bisitahin and take a picture of it so that you can analyze ano ba yung paglalagyan ng structure. Babagay ba siya or mag-fit ba siya? Baka pala yung lote natin sobrang liit ng daan sa harap. Well, hindi pa siya possible na magkaroon ng kailangan mo palang mag-setback para makapagpasok sa driveway yung sasakyan. Hindi pala kakayanin sa sobrang liit ng road. Or yung lote pala mismo, merong puno sa gitna. Actually, we have a friend na nagpapa-consult sa akin kasi nabili siya ng lote and they wanted it to build their house. Tapos nung tiningnan namin yung lote niya, buti I didn't start any design pa. We visited the lot. And then when I'm analyzing lahat ng gusto niya, ang location ng lot niya is not buildable kasi nasa ilalim siya ng ambuklaw. So ibig sabihin when there's a certain distance dapat mula doon, may dumaan na line sa kanya ng NGCP, so hindi siya pwedeng magtayo ng any structure. Tapos meron pa siyang malaking nara-tree sa harap. So maliit lang yung lot. So sabi ko sa kanya, wala ka nang magagamit sa lote na to. And lahat ng gusto niya pa 3 floors. Sabi ko, pag nag 3 floors ka dyan, your appliances mahihigop at mahihigop yung kuryente niya nung line na dumaan. So yun, that's how we analyze spaces. Ano ba yung basic process ng space planning natin? So, you collect the data muna. Ano ba yung function ng spaces? Ano ba yung shapes, forms, flexibility na kailangan, the access, relationship of spaces sa isa't isa, adjacency ng sizes, user interest and activities. And how do you collect all of these? Aside from doing your research, you collect this with your client meetings. Na you do your first client meeting. Do not design anything na hindi mo panamimit si client, hindi kayo nagkakausap. Kasi yun, after this, nung naging architect ako, nung na-expose ako sa practice, may mga lumalapit sa akin na contractors na they need my plans at sila yung direktang kumakausap sa client. But I say no, kailangan makausap ko si client kasi paano ko mabibigay yung gusto ni client if sila yung kausap, di ba? So, dapat ang tama is ikaw ang kakausap kay client so that you would know all of this data aside from your research and to bring up kung anong kailangan natin. Kaya kung makikita nyo, when we do the design problems, nagbibigay tayo ng situation so that you would know kung kanino or ano yung activities na kailangang ibigay natin for the users. Okay, translating the data into spaces. Off ako. Yan. So, alam nyo yung matrix diagram, sobrang gasgas na to, first year pa lang. So, the relationship of our users and the spaces, if it's adjacent, it should be nearby, or not adjacent, or not related at all. So, ito, isang example here is an adjacency matrix for a house. But, ito, madali pa lang. May mas hihirap at hihirap dito, lalo na pag lalong dumadami yung project or yung buildings mo kapag complex na yung structure mo. So, kailangan talagang pinag-aaralan mo siya kaya hindi siya iniiwan pagkayari mong gawin siya ng first year. Dapat tuloy-tuloy siya hanggang thesis nyo, dala-dala nyo to dapat hanggang umabot kayo ng design 10. So that's why kasama pa rin natin siyang pinag-aaralan. Okay, consider the space relationships. So if it will be space within a space, kamukha niyan, picture dyan. Teka, taas ako And interlocking spaces, spaces linked by a common space, or adjacent spaces like kitchen and dining. And yun, yung organizing the spaces and then creating the circulation. We consider the relationship of each users, and at the same time, we consider the relationship of the activities to the users, the activities to the rooms, to the spaces, para makakreate tayo ng good space plan. Creating the solution, yung mismong design problem natin, we create the bubble diagram. O ito, alam nyo na din to. We produce this. And then, nagkakaroon tayo ng other options. While we are doing the bubble diagram, di ba? Ay, okay pala na ilagay, kunyari, when you're doing your bubble diagram na yan, mas okay yata na si master. You can do an option na, mas okay ba si master bedroom? I will put it, or the garden, ilalagay ko siya malapit sa living room para hindi lang solo ni master bedroom, para nakikita siya ng lahat. You can do that as a second option. O mas okay ba si dining, ilagay ko sa, mapagpalitin ko sila ni kitchen so that yung dining, may accessible siya sa yard. So I can open up a lanay. So, yan yung mga question natin sa utak natin. And when we do the designs, we create different options or yung tinatawag nating schematics. We have scheme 1 and scheme 2. Same space, same area, pero nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang scheme, ng iba't ibang spaces. At always be reminded, pagka naging architect na kayo, when you present your drawings or design, always give a scheme, an option for your client. So, hindi lang sabihin, scheme 1 lagi lang ang pabibigay mo sa kanya. Always give them at least 2 to 3 schemes para pagpilian. But again, mas makakatipid or mas mapapadali sa inyo kung unahin nyo muna yung space planning. So, pakita nyo muna yung kung kaya nyo mag-present with bubble diagram or with this floor plans. Ay, bumalik tayo. With floor plans, mas okay siya na mapakita natin kay client yung iba't ibang options natin. Okay, so this is the introduction to space planning. I know this is just a review kasi napag-aralan nyo na to with your design 4. So, kaya ito po muna ang inuna ko. Tapos, tsaka tayo level up hanggang sa magka-produce tayo ng mas malalaking structures. So, the next video to be uploaded would be your activity for activity 1 and plate 1. So, if that's space planning, introduction to space planning.